Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the Path.
Just one. I just have the one belt.
I don't know why I'm talking about this. Hey, you've been listening live to the Path just for these last few moments.
Hey,
This was the time you had to bail.
we're talking about belts.
You could have left and you wouldn't have this problem anymore, but you didn't. Why? I'm sorry, I missed it. I was doing other things. Why are we talking about belts?
I mean, it's not as interesting now that you bring it up, but we're just discussing that when people wear dress up for the cover art of their CD or whatever, like major celebrities have a new outfit for every day of the week, and regular Joes, I mean, I only own one belt, and so I figured I'd get caught wearing the same belt on every CD cover if I were to make one.
But to recall it was never interesting to begin with. It was a weird conversation about how many belts people own.
I bought a belt that is reversible. It's brown on one side, black on the other.
Boom.
That way,
Yeah.
yeah. That way you're ready for every occasion.
That counts as 2 belts.
Yeah,
then, right? So then I do have more than 4 belts.
So
Well,
what
let's see, I've got 6 reversible belts, so I've got 12 belts, and then I got the one that's the cool buckles, and I got that one.
I feel like my home insurance lady owes me another $12 in coverage because I only counted it as one belt in case of fire.
One.
Oh yeah, here's the deal: is if you have to take a belt and then accessorize it with a belt buckle, then that counts as a new separate belt. Yeah, that's definitely
Hey,
true.
I had one of those belts that had a bunch of different belt buckles to it. I like different interchangeable ones that I thought was cool when I was like 14.
That's your plastic Batman belt, and that doesn't count.
No, man. No, it was good stuff.
You could do that?
All right, that conversation is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Hey, this has been with Live from the Path. Here's what I got going on the show tonight. First of all, I'll be doggone it. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I thought he retired and moved to Arizona. Jeff Arrandale.
Yeah,
I have not seen Jeff Arrandale, I mean, in years probably. I think 2 or 3 years at least. I think Dan sees him more often.
Yep.
But he ghosted me is what happened.
We hang out.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
I thought you played Words with Friends with Arrandale.
No way, he's dodgy. Here's the deal: you don't play Words with Friends with Jeff Arrandale. He's the most defensive Words with Friends player ever. Like when other people are like playing words, trying to try out new phrases and see if they can up their vocabulary, Arrandale has rolled up the dungeon and the drawbridge and is playing like so tight to the vest.
It's conservative death.
Yeah,
There's only like 4 people who play that now.
Death by yawning.
I mean,
What's
I
that?
The
still
word
do
for
it, but I
friends?
only get computer generated. Hey, Susan wants to play you. And I'm like, I don't know Susan.
I don't know Susan.
Yeah. And then I would say, okay. But it's like, I get different names. It's the same picture, though. So it's like, it's obviously computer generated.
Yeah, right.
Oh, gosh.
All right. So anyway, his retirement and hiding in Florida is greatly exaggerated.
Yes.
First of all, he's not even retirement age. I thought he was one of the. You guys heard the fire, like where people retire early. I thought that was Arrandale. He had saved his money well, and he blew to Florida.
See, the fire?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
When you retire early, they call it the fire?
Yeah, fire.
Well, use it in a sentence or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, those it's one of those fire people.
It's one of those fire people.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
Did you just make this up and you are trying really hard to make it a
No,
real thing?
no, it's I don't know.
He's one of them fire people. Use it in a sentence. Fire is an adjective in this situation.
I don't remember what it means. Fast.
I think you're the only one that
Oh,
recognizes
is it an acronym for something?
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so not in Arizona,
That's less
not
meaningful.
retired, not so wealthy that he could leave working at the ripe old age of 33 or whatever he is. So Arrandale is back in the studio and he's got a new album out for EP.
Yes.
EP.
Yep.
Super excited.
Yes.
So and we're gonna hear some tunes from it.
Yeah.
At least 2. It was supposed to be 3. But the illustrious Arrandale has yelled his face off at the Chiefs game,
Yes.
and he just can't pull off 3 of them.
Dun, 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 dun. I was doing that all night.
That was one of them.
He had to.
You're welcome.
He had the mascot
That'll
head
be
on
$500
when he got here. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna catch up with Jeff. We're gonna hear a couple tunes off the EP, and he's got a big announcement. Big stuff is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow. Now we don't broadcast live, so it's gonna be today when you listen to it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. I got to do the math.
Yeah,
What-
yeah. No, put 2. Yeah.
I got Pope style advice, man.
Okay, Mike's got some Pope style advice. Buva has a question. Buva, what's the prevalence of the question?
I have to navigate 2 separate families in my life because I've just been adopted by a bunch of people, and one of them is a very like God-loving family that's full on loving that kind of deal and following Jesus, and the other ones are not quite there at all. Kind of the exact opposite, actually. And I'm really trying to figure out how to navigate being a part of that family when I'm trying to find myself following Christ more and more and more.
Yep.
And like the more I find myself falling in line with the Jesus man I want to be, the less I want to like kind of hang around. And I know that sounds terrible because they're my family, but
It's like a third belt, right?
Right. It's like if you have one reversible belt, so that's your 2, and then you have a third one. It's just like I'm not so sure about.
I'm not
this
so
one.
sure on this
Now,
third
belt
belt.
buckles seemed cool when I was 16, and I was wearing a lot of clothes that seemed cooler.
Yeah.
Nowadays, no, that has nothing to do with that.
I understand.
No, and I really want to figure out like what am I supposed to do in this situation, like where I've got a family that I'm trying to hold on to because I love them, but like I just feel like we're distancing ourselves so much because what we care about is completely changing, and the person that I am is completely changing because I'm trying to fall more in line and in love with Christ.
It's a good question, Buva.
Yeah, that is a good question. All right, we'll pick up on that. A couple pieces of news just before we go too far. Tanzanian pastor arrested for causing church stampede that killed 20, injured 16.
Oh boy.
So it says at least 20 congregants have been killed and another 16 injured in a stampede during a Sunday church service in northern Tanzania. Now, have you guys heard this story?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, Dan's heard it. Buva, have you heard it?
No, it's Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Stop it.
Why,
It's Tanzania.
why can't I say it Tanzania?
Because it sounds like stop. Okay, whatever. It sounds
Like
like you're
the
trying to say Tasmanian devil.
Tanzanian devil, yeah.
No.
It's the same place.
Jason says I'm 2 for 2.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, I was going to say a similar thing happened a couple weeks ago when we were giving out free Arrandale CDs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But
Why, there was a rush for the exit?
Tanzania was upset.
Wait, Arrandale didn't retire?
Yeah.
20 people in Tanzania were killed.
I thought that guy's been in Arizona for years.
Yeah. It was a fire sale.
Them fire people.
Okay, so Buva, having not heard this story, my question is this: What do you think caused this stampede at the church service?
Now, okay, it's a stampede of people, yes?
Yeah,
Okay,
It
I'm
doesn't
making
say
sure
that.
this isn't like animals stampeding through.
It
Yeah,
could-
maybe it's
yeah.
Tanzanian devils that are coming through. What caused the stampede?
yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
Church potluck.
Legit,
Legit.
Mike.
Fire. He
Fire
said
people.
something about fire.
Okay. Now what if? Okay, Pastor Boniface Mwampoza
Yeah.
convinced scores of people to attend a Sunday service at a sports stadium in Tanzania. Tanzania's commercial capital, by promising the great prosperity and cures for diseases if they stepped in blessed oil.
Oh, yeah.
During one point in the service, Mwampoza told approximately 10,000 worshipers to rush to one side of the stadium in order to be anointed, inciting a stampede that killed 20 people, 5 of whom were children.
So it was a stampede for anointment?
Listen here. You ever see Jesus acting this way? He
Calling
says,
people to one side
"Hey,
of the stadium?
You hungry? Hang tight. We'll bring the bread around." This guy has set up some kind of blessed oil on like a complete other side of the stadium, and it causes a roast which everyone tramples over themselves, killing people
It's spiritual
because of this fella.
Man.
That's sad, Ben. That's a sad story.
It's a terrible story.
What's his name? Wampum Face?
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh
close.
man, I just can't even imagine how bad you guys are butchering this name right now.
It's Mwampoza.
Wampum face.
I know. I said it right.
Boniface to Wampum face of Tasmanians.
Sorry.
It's Boniface. All right.
Holy
Anyway,
cow.
he was arrested on Sunday as he was trying to flee the country.
Yeah,
He will be held accountable for causing this tragedy.
good.
I mean, here's the thing. There's parts of me that goes, oh, man, he was just trying to do the right thing and he made a huge mistake. But then there's other parts of me that go, look, if you're going to take responsibility for people, you have to have more than like a 1-inch line of sight in front of you that goes, hey, man, this might be a problem, right? Like, it'd be like something as simple as saying, hey, let's have a worship service. Hey, can we have it in this bathroom closet? Yeah, we can, right? That's akin to what he did, right? Like, it makes absolutely no, taking responsibility for even 10,000 people in attendance is a huge responsibility, right? And then, like, to not watch or guard your words or pay attention to what you're doing when the welfare of all these people is on you it's flat out arrogant, right?
The prosperity gospel is huge in third world countries, and that's obviously what this is. There had to be some money exchange. He's a rock star. That's all he is. And he throws little Jesus out there and gets some cash and throw some oil.
Was it like a pool of oil or what?
No, I don't know. It doesn't say. But I think that's the core point, though. It's bull, right? Obviously, it's not even a thing. These people died for some jackanapes who was making something up. I'm not saying Jesus wouldn't honor faith among some of those folks for trying to walk in something they believe to be true, but this dude's a turdlinger, and he has done this for his own glory and nothing else.
Wait, what'd you say?
That's a turdlinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I like that. Wampum face.
Use it in a sentence.
Bolshevik.
All right. Anyway, just catching you up on the news of the day.
I don't like that story.
I
dude.
know, it's terrible. All right. Okay, here. Now I feel bad moving over to Arrandale after that business, so I'm going to give you a better story. Wuhan pastors encouraging congregations not to fear and to be at the forefront of helping others. Amid the coronavirus outbreak in China, which has killed more than 300 people and infected 550 worldwide, Wuhan pastors are encouraging their congregations to not be scared and to focus on helping others, according to other reports from the city. Eric Birkeland, president of China Partner, a nonprofit organization that helps churches in China, said Christians in Wuhan are being encouraged by local pastors not to fear and to be at the forefront of helping others.
I have a question.
Yep.
So, like, they've made a real big deal about this coronavirus or whatever, but, like, just even based off the numbers they're providing, that's a 2% rate of people dying from getting it.
Yeah.
That's about the same as dudes just walking around, right? Like, by the time you look at the infection rate of people who have compromised immune systems, like the very young or the very old, that's about our rate anyway, right? So, like, is that the same? Is it comparable to like the flu, right? As far as how deadly it is.
So, like, you're talking velocity of stuff at this point, right? Like, it's not just pure numbers. It's how quickly and how many, not just how many.
Oh, like how fast it would kill somebody?
No. But like how quickly, like the more people are. So because like the people you're talking about with the flu, they're also still dying.
I'm with you so far.
Right. So now you've just added another one on top of it. What are you getting at here?
I'm just trying to measure the hubbub here, right? Because like once again, if we get a flu outbreak every year, right? Like for about a month or two, and they're like, and then they say it's a big huge deal. And then, and then people who have immunocompromised situations anyway are the ones more susceptible of dying from it. And then they do, and I'm just trying to measure it, right? Like, 'cause I feel like it's. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a good deal. Obviously, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just trying to take it in with some realistic glasses here, and to say, like, if it spreads quickly and it causes sickness, but if its death rate is still only 2%, I mean.
Yeah, are we latching onto this as a huge deal right now, but is it actually any worse than other?
Okay, yeah. I'm putting this very insensitively, and I realize that. I'm trying to
I've had the same question though, is because ultimately, like, yeah, if we're looking at mortality rates and actual statistics versus news coverage, is the news coverage just because this is newer? Because I know there's been multiple strands of the coronavirus that have existed for years now. There's like 3 that existed, 2 that have been around for a while. This third one is the newest one, and I don't know if it's a mutated strain of the virus that's causing it to have a higher mortality rate, and that's what's making it news, or if this is just the newest thing the news is attaching to, because it's a new virus that we're talking about. Is it actually, like, are the death rates, mortality rates actually warranting the amount of news coverage that's existing right now, and the amount of scare that's being thrown out right now?
Yeah, because I mean, we went through something similar with SARS and with the swine flu, right? And like, here's the deal: there's, regardless of whether it doesn't match up to how it was predicted, like there's still people and families that are impacted by whatever that is.
Oh no,
right?
agreed.
But in either case, I suppose the realistic question is does the very fact that we start talking about it in a certain way either cause it to be a greater impact than what it is, or an overreaction to certain things?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, I think a broad point, right? Like where everyone else is running out, people of Jesus are running in.
I think that's
and that's happening in Wuhan.
Here's what I want to know: the pastors are encouraging it. Are they engaging in it as well, or just sending their people out to do the, well, hey, if you guys get sick, I'll pray for you.
Boova
no.
will go
I'll
in.
be more impressed if the pastors are all slow. involved.
Yeah, I mean, you are talking China here, right? So, like, I mean, the prosperity gospel ain't big in China. They're yeah. So, and the quote was from this guy. I believe pastors that we've been training over the years are now ministering to the needs of these people that are so desperately in panic mode.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's better news than the other guy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, you're listening to Live from the Path.
Yeah, I don't know, Ben.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, so let's re-engage. So let's reintroduce yourself if you've not been to Arizona lately with Jeff Arrandale. Here's the deal. Arrandale has been on the show numerous times. Always been super gracious with his time and with his talent. In fact, he's the go-to guy. Jeff, I'm going to tell you a secret. Anytime we thought, hey, we should do something as a show, like we were going to put on the Christmas from the Path program, right? Or like we were going to do something. We said, hey man, I wonder what Arrandale's doing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the first guy.
We can trick him.
Yeah.
It's the old dollar and string trick. Gets him every time.
So I'm super excited though to hear about your new album. So let me ask you this. So EP this is number 2.
Correct. Number 3 actually.
3, right? Because there's the I remember by the covers.
Yep.
There's a green one, and then there's one with Arrandale hanging on a porch, and now there's one with Arrandale hanging on stairs.
Yep.
Of a porch, though.
Yeah, I think it's still a porch.
Well, it's the back porch actually. We're making full usage of the layout.
I want to use all the porches.
So anything, any theme to the EP this time, or just a collection of things that God's working on in your life?
You know, I think it's a collection of things. The EP prior was kind of a beginning to end salvation, the story of salvation, you know, and ending in, you know, the outcome of salvation. This one has a little bit of everything. You know, it's about coming together, worshiping God corporately, and anticipating the return of Christ. There's a song in there about picking up your cross daily, just as Christ did, and running to the cross too. Not only carry your cross, but run to the cross, because I certainly can't, you know, handle anything in my life without Christ. So, and then you know, there's a really cool worship song. I was impressed once by the fact that you know, if we're not singing praises, if we're not living a lifestyle of worship, and giving glory to God through our very lives, and even if you don't sing or not, then the hills and the rocks are going to cry out. And, you know, the Lord's creation is always worshiping Him. And so it's kind of a challenge to worshipers. It's a challenge to Christians to worship. So I don't know, there's a little bit of all that kind of stuff. You know, the other one, too, that first song that kicks it off, the You Are There, you know, that's from Psalms, where David says, where can I go? Where can I flee from you? When I lie down at night, when I wake up in the morning, when I rise, whatever, you're there, doesn't matter. You know where I'm at. And that's just not physically where I'm at. You know where I'm at with my heart and my spirit. So, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit of everything, I think.
Hey man, I need a soundtrack to my life that dips in all waters.
I agree.
I think that's good. Well, so I tell you what, let's hear a tune from the EP, and then we can catch up a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about the first song you're going to sing.
Yeah, this is the song I was talking about, corporate worship, and gathering the worshipers and the praises of the people. It's you know, I want to be part of that. When I first rededicated my life to Christ, and it was apparent that I was going to get to use the talent God had given me with music, I wanted to be used in gathering the praises of the people. So I'm a worshiper and singer-songwriter as well, and this one's about gathering the praises of His people together. So
that's awesome. Well, the song is To the Great I Am.
Yep.
You're listening to Jeff Arrandale on Live from the Path.
He speaks to our hearts as the time draws near. He's made His plan known, it's perfectly clear. Millions of souls in harmony. Time is now. Oh my gosh. Hope He uses me, draw me close without any pause. I'm talking with men in accord with His cause. Now seems the time to lift up our hands to the great I am. There's nothing more temporary than life. Where there is darkness, came to bring light. As darkness breeds fair, there's no more fear. The isolation's gone. He opens eyes, draw me close without any pause. Talking with men in a cordless cause. Now seems the time to lift up our hands to the great I am. Draw me close without any pause. Talking with men in a cordless cause. Now see the time to lift up our hands to the great I am. Great I am. Great I am. Oh, sorry about the voice, fellas. That's really...
There's the deal. I mean, it's not your fault the Chiefs won the Super Bowl,
I-
Arrandale.
Yeah, my attorney will be calling Andy Reid. Not really. Oh, my gosh.
The harmonies were just.
Yeah.
And I really like that song. That was really nice. I feel like I've been tending to like you guys. Any of you guys go running, go exercising or whatever?
Yeah.
Like I was build this running playlist of like these super fast rocking tunes or whatever, thinking it had to pump me up, you know. And like I find that like I like to run to the almost the exact opposite. Like songs just like that, right? Like just these easy going, peaceful. Like especially there could not be a more favorite phrase that out of the Bible than when God calls himself the great I am. It was just my favorite thing ever. And so like I love every bit of that song. That was very cool.
Oh, thank you.
Hey man, I work out to bands like Demon Hunter and A Plea for Purging
No.
that scream at me the whole time. And
I'm gonna send you. I have two playlists that I exercise.
I
to.
don't know if I can exercise to easy listening, but I mean I'll try for you.
One of the playlists is called Dead Mike Running, and that's got all the hard rock music in it. And then the other one's called Alive Mike Running, and that's the more Arrandale great I am type
I'll do
style.
the same for you. I will send you my playlist to work out to. We'll see what happens.
That sounds fantastic.
All right.
I go in spurts when I'm doing stuff for running. Like sometimes I need a bunch of music, and then there was a time where like I probably listened to 10, 20 podcasts of people like teaching through books of the Bible or whatever, and like. It's odd. Some guy was teaching like 2 Kings or something. I'm out running 11:30 at night going, yeah.
Yes, I do. Sermons and news.
Yeah.
Fox News. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you want to run away from the news. That's perfectly acceptable. I can understand that entirely. Man, all right, that's weird. I can't do that.
Okay, so here we go. So to the great I am. That's on. So now, Arrandale, people can pick this thing up, right?
Yeah, it soon will be released on the normal electronic platforms, Apple Tune, what's it called? Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon will be there. And then also we've got hard copy CDs for those people that still have a CD player. And yeah, we've been selling those at the various places that we've been playing, and or you can go to the website and contact me there, or Facebook, something like that, and I'll get one shipped to you as well.
Now, do you know when it's going to be? I checked the Spotify today to see if it was out there. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we were having some difficulties. Apparently, producer Art accidentally hit explicit material on one of the songs, and that opened up a whole nother page on the of questions. So he went back and fixed that.
Which one did you use bad language on?
None of them. Actually,
I was going to say I'm interested to see which one that was.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
Get moving.
He decided to clean it up
No,
this
it was
time.
What's worship bad language? Is that yelling "you brood of vipers" on the song?
Hey man, so we were
Put down those Asherah poles.
we were making Christmas cards. Did I tell you the story in the air? So we were making Christmas cards at church for like the Meals on Wheels. And so we did our church service, and then whenever we stood around, and everybody made cards that you could give to the Meals on Wheels people, and they said, and the people were drawing Christmas scenes or whatever, scenes from the Bible, and like I drew a picture of John the Baptist going, "You brood of vipers," because I thought, I mean, that's around when it's early
Very
in the Lord.
As a Christmas card?
Yeah.
It's a very Christmassy.
It's a Bible story.
Boom.
You schmuck.
Now
Nobody wants that.
my wife took it out of the pile. It didn't make it to the people at the Meals on Wheels.
Somebody's got to wear the discernment shirt around your place.
I tell you this: if I was,
Yeah,
if
it's
I
like
was,
the Uum and the Thurnum or whatever it's called. What's it called? I always call it the Uma Thurman because I can't even remember what it was called. The Urim and the Thurum. What's it called?
I don't
Anyway,
know.
it's the gambling vest.
The shirt of
I mean, in practice, it's the gambling vest.
If we have any Orthodox Jews that listen to the show, we're really sorry about what's happening right now.
Put on the Uma Thurman and tell me which house to buy.
all I'm saying is that if I were on the Meals on Wheels program and my mashed potatoes showed up and someone had drew a rough picture of John the Baptist calling someone a brood of vipers, I'd be like, all right,
Let's go.
all right, Tim.
You're the only person who would appreciate that card.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so you can go to jeffarrandale.com is where you're going to keep up to date on this stuff anyway. Now, there is big news though.
Yes.
So happening tomorrow,
Yes.
or if you're listening to the podcast the day it drops today,
Yeah.
you got a video coming out.
Yeah, and actually tomorrow it's the teaser.
Oh, it's the teaser
Oh
video.
yeah, tomorrow's the teaser, and then looking at dropping, as they say, the hip cats say in the business, we're dropping the video.
That's
Which,
what I say.
Yeah. It's like when I drop something, it usually breaks. But
Calling anyone hip cats automatically takes you out of being the hip cat.
yeah, right.
But I love it.
So releasing, it's going to be released. Looking at next week. So it's the first video that we've got or that we put out, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Man, I wish you could have been there. We made sure that you were on vacation, though, Jason. So everybody else is in it.
Wait a
and,
minute. I mean, did you feel that at the time, Jason? Like, hey, we're doing the video shoot. Oh, you out of town.
Yeah, sorry, it's not movable, bro. Sorry.
They only do cameras on Tuesdays.
Oh my God.
So tell me about this. How was that experience, then, Jeff? Like, I mean, was it as you expected? Like, what did you walk into thinking?
I guess growing up, I grew up a long time ago, but with MTV generation, and you see the backstory on some of those, and just watching goofiness in some of these songs and stuff like that, and even watching the '60s stuff, like the Monkees, miming to videos, or the Beatles miming to the track or whatever. So I had kind of an idea. I mean, I can remember as a 10-year-old when the Archies were out, you could cut out the records off the back of Honeycomb cereals. You get the Jacksons or Bobby Sherman or whoever, and my sisters and I are down in our basement, and we're pretending like we're the Partridge Family or something. Had the little 45 record player going. So I figured it'd be like that, and it kind of was. I mean, yeah,
I nailed it.
It was exactly,
It was a little bit like that. I don't know if it was a little confusing, I think, but yeah, no, it was a good time.
Yeah, and it was these guys all got sick of the song because we did it like 27 times or
So
something.
do you have to play it, or do they blare it over like speakers and you act like it's happening?
Yep. It's all a big hoax. It's an act. It's yeah. Yeah, you play it over and over and over again, and it's like, oh, good Lord. And then finally we cut these guys loose, the band loose, and then we did some
Some solo Jeff shots.
Yep. Yeah. Some drama.
Where the rain came out.
Yeah.
And we got down to the A shirt, and we just started singing the tunes.
Oh my gosh! What it was really about? Yeah, no, not at all. But it was really cool, And it, the producer, he was a director guy. He's great to work with. They had a lot of fun, and it's like, okay, it's like, when is this coming out? Well, I don't know. Christmas, maybe I'll have a chance to start working on it. This was like early November.
He literally left the country to avoid getting this.
He went to Africa to shoot a rap video or something, but I don't know. He finally got back, I think, last weekend. It took him like 15 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. It didn't take him 15 minutes, but very artsy, very a little bit of drama, lots of smiles and laughs and, that kind of thing. Pretending
I'm
like
super pumped to see this thing.
Oh.
I mean, did you feel like you had to act? Like, did you do some acting in this thing?
No. It wasn't like that. It's not any kind of story thing, but it just kind of looked like one of our performances, I think. We're standing around and singing and smiling and worshiping.
Looks like a David Crowder video with the bands just playing and really.
Have you seen
Oh,
this
yeah,
thing,
you've
Dan?
seen it. I
I've
showed
seen
it
it.
yesterday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Some of us are special.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, he's a pastor.
Hold up. Now
so-
I just feel hurt. All right.
I can't believe this.
I just feel hurt.
Right. I worry about him when he's in Arizona. And
Arrandale, I share your posts all the time. I interact and I whatever.
yeah.
Not anymore.
Okay, all right. Oh, so it's all right. So Dan, you've seen this thing. Okay, I mean, it's quality.
I like it.
I mean, Arrandale basically said 3 minutes ago that he's a fraud. So I can't.
Right.
I can't take anything that comes out of his mouth.
It has the feel of one of those videos where like the band walks into an old church and the lights are low and they kind of start playing and it's like got a rustic feel and I like it.
I mean, that sounds like the August Guns video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same dude? No, maybe not.
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know who that
I'm
is.
excited for this video.
Yeah, I know.
I'm excited for this video.
So today, or not tomorrow, which will be today, look for the, we'll have it on
teaser.
Facebook.
The
Yeah,
trailer.
the teaser. It's crazy, yeah.
The A-shirt.
trailer. Yeah, it'll be on there for a week.
Ooh. Now wait.
So share it.
It's-
Share it. Tell everybody the news.
I will, Jeff.
Yeah.
Now I really hope this is like a sweet video from the 1980s where you're like at some warehouse that apparently manufactures like Sparks, and that's all they do. Like you're just jamming out in the back and like wide aerial shots of you just doing all kinds of stuff.
And then the sparks are out.
I'm really looking forward to this, and I
We
can't
had to wear
wait.
protective Uma Thurman shirts
Yeah.
for that.
You got your Uma Thurman on right over your shirt of discernment. We got it all taken care of. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't meet my expectations, I will be shooting my own video to let you know what it should have been, and we'll see what it looks like from there.
Oh, I would
That
love
is
that.
a great
Yes,
idea.
we are.
We are gonna shoot a mockumentary video of Arrandale. We're gonna create it scene for scene. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm aware
Can I
that-
please be Jeff? We look so much alike. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dish you like that. But just saying, it's gonna work. A mockumentary. It's gonna be great.
This is a great idea. Okay. Okay.
I love it.
He was never like this. Okay. Okay. The hype video coming
Why's
tomorrow.
Booba got his shirt off? What's going on?
Why's that guy welding back there?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like Sammy Hagar in the back just rocking it, and then sparks flying for no reason like a Power Ranger show. It's just
And now,
crazy.
why is he leaping through the air wearing that
Yes,
leotard?
exactly. What is going on? Why is that person dancing on a car that's not moving? What's happening right now? This is great.
Is that a
factory. A factory that manufactures sparks.
now hold on. Now I'm kind of interested. So, were there multiple like thoughts about this video, or was it always going to be the
No.
band performance? Like, did you?
No. Band performance, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. This was our first, and
You thought play it safe.
play it safe.
Okay.
But we're talking about doing some, we'll have some other songs coming out. We might have a little bit more fun with. Well, actually, there weren't as many shots maybe as Mark would have wanted, and certainly no shots of Jason in the video. Yeah. So this next Jeff Arrandale
A lot
video,
of people are going to be thankful about that.
no. So we're thinking this next next Jeff Arrandale video is going to star Jason Badger, feature Mark Zirkelbach, and I'll just kind of bop in and out over their shoulders,
Well, and
faking
it is
singing.
important to note that we have on more than one occasion renamed the band.
Yeah.
It's the Mark Zirkelbach and Jeff band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Actually, I was good, Jason. I was just going to ask you, like, we have a video shoot coming up on our own. that if you'd be interested in, we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're out of town, I'll reschedule, man. You mean everything to me.
Yeah.
Depends on what you want me to wear.
I mean, I'm open as long as it's more than the halftime show. I think I can get on with that.
And there it was. The
Thank you.
hostess singer.
Thank you very much.
Brought to you by hostess.
Hey, Christian, stop complaining about stuff you shouldn't be watching anyway. Just turn it off and go have a brownie and come back.
You'll never believe what I saw at the dirty bookstore. The what? Yes, that is what the argument is today, right? Like, you'll never believe what I saw at the halftime show. Oh, really? I think I would.
I might.
Was that too Arrandale?
Yeah.
Not a hip cat?
What is happening right now? I know that I'm not 30 yet, but come on. We've got hip cats or something along with dirty bookstore. And then him saying fire people. What is happening in here tonight, guys?
Only in Mike's version of the world are people still buying dirty books.
I didn't even know they could be washed.
I'm just imagining those creepy old, like, 1920s little comic books that are, like, smut comic books. And this is what the Christians of today are like, oh, this is terrible. Like, they're not. Oh, man.
Whoops. You'll never guess what's in here.
All right, dirty bookstore. Don't go to the dirty bookstore.
Speaking of dirty bookstores.
Speaking of, huh?
Yeah, speaking of. So, have you guys, so I'm not going to ask whether you've been to the smut store, but there, so on the south side of Des Moines, there's like a dirty store, and there's this Bob's Tools. You know what I'm talking about?
And they share a parking lot.
Yeah. Dirty store, I mean, you can't see in it or whatever. And here's the deal: they always have the same number of customers. There's always, if there's one car at the dirty store, there's one car at the Bob's Tools. Now, I'm pretty sure that second guy at the Bob's Tools is also at the dirty store. He just didn't want anybody to drive by and see. So he acts like he's at the Bob's Tools.
Bob's Tools been closed down for 20 years. What are you talking about?
I think
went out of business in the 90s.
You go in there and there's like a screwdriver and like a calendar of some lady. It's from 1984,
right?
And like that's it. That's all it's at Bob's Tools. And they did the dirty store just pays them to let people park over there.
It's a secret underground tunnel.
Okay, but anyway, that was my guess. However, one day, I used to live on the south side. And so I was out there the last week or whatever, and there was a lot of cars at the Bob's Tools. I mean, like 15, 20 cars, and I couldn't believe it. And so I drove by once, and I didn't really notice. I came back come back the other way, and I'm like, what the heck is going on at the Bob's Tools? But there was nobody over at the dirty store. And so I finally decided I was going to pull in and check it out and see what was going on at the Bob's Tools.
Okay, thank you for clarifying it was Bob's Tools that we were checking on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say I was going to go to the dirty store.
Good, just
what
checking.
if they have those Victorian novels in there?
Creepy.
They don't meet my sensibilities. So anyway, I go into Bob's Tools, and there's a guy. There's like 20 all dudes into Bob's Tools looking very ashamed of themselves. And I thought, like, this is weird. So I asked him what was going on, and I'll be doggone it if they found out, they heard that the Pope was in town, and that he was going to drive through the South Side to get to Pleasantville, Iowa. And they were so ashamed of themselves, they left the dirty store and huddled at the Bob's Tools.
Are you what?
Because you would. If the Pope wasn't coming to town, you wouldn't want the pontiff himself to see that you're hanging out at the dirty store. And so they all made a beeline for the Bob's Tools. And so I said, boys, like, is that really what's going on? Is the Pope really in town? They said, yeah, he's on his way to Pleasantville. They said, he's going home. I'm like, you don't live in Pleasantville. That's ridiculous. So I follow this cavalcade of people that are driving Pleasantville. And it's Mike. Somehow, these fellas have misunderstood that the Pope was not really in town, but it was Mike Fust. And so now he's got the problem. Now all these people have followed him out into his house, and they're on his lawn, and they refuse to leave because they think he's the Pope and he's going to give them wisdom. And so we talked it over while he was there. I said, Mike, what are you going to do? And he says, the only way to get these people off my lawn is you got to give them wisdom like the Pope would, some Pope-style advice. Walk out on the veranda and give some kind of advice, but they got to feel it, so it's got to be kind of relevant to your life. And so, Mike, what'd you tell him?
So I've given this advice out probably 3 times this week, and it continues to keep coming up. But the Pope-style advice is the prodigal son does not get to bring his lifestyle with him back home. So well, I mean, this is true for me. This is true of almost every guy that I've talked to about some various things going on in their life. And like that prodigal son story is just, it could not peel more like an onion, like Ben says. Like it just gets deeper and deeper every time I read it and every time I come to understand it better. But like at the end of the day, the son left. He basically said, look, Dad, I wish you were dead. I want my money and give me my inheritance. I'm leaving. And he leaves his father and he does some wild living. And with various edits to the story, depending on who I'm talking to, we'll just leave it at wild living. Yep. So he does some really wild living and ends up in a really bad set of circumstances and starts to yearn to go back home and goes, man, I don't think I'm ever going to be welcome back into that family, but maybe I can just work there. Maybe I can at least be part of the atmosphere. Obviously I've lost all reason to be there or to be loved there. And with a resolute heart that he's going to be a nothing the rest of his days in the company of everybody who used to think he was something, he shows up back home, and only to find his dad overjoyed and throws all dignity aside to run up and kill a fattened calf and put a robe on him and give him the rings and say, yes, my son has come home. You get every place of honor you had when you left. All is done. All is forgiven. I'm just so happy to have you here. And I love that story because I get to tell a lot of people what God's heart is on them when they've gotten so far away. But the second part of that story is the one that tends to get kind of left off and not remembered. One is the crappy brother, which I tend to be sometimes. So we don't like to tell that part of the story. But like the second part is like the kid didn't have any aspirations that he was going to bring the pigs and the ladies and whatever else he had got involved with back to his dad's house. He didn't think that he was going to bring this lifestyle that had separated him from his father and bring pieces of it back to his dad's house, and his dad was going to stand for it. That story has no conversation and no category for allowing that. And I think some of the biggest barriers that I see people run into when they're trying to start to turn their life around and go back home on where they belong, where they were given honor and love and glory even. They were just where they were created to be, is they try to bring the pig with them or the two ladies with them. And the dad's never going to allow that. It's not because he doesn't like you or doesn't like the decisions that you made. It more has to do with if you bring the pigs here and you bring the ladies here, then we're going to become separated at this house, and I won't allow it. I will not allow that. It's the same thing that God's done. Every move God's made, every story you read in the Old Testament where you think that God has taken a crazy bit of justice or done something that you just cannot wrap your mind around on why he would act this way. It's because he's not going to allow things that will separate you and him at his house. He's just not going to allow it. And so of the times when you start to feel like you are drifting away from your relationship with the Father and starting to feel disconnected, and maybe that it wasn't your home, I mean, man, it's 10 out of 10. It's never him. It's you trying to bring in prodigal son business into dad's house, and he's not going to allow it. He's just absolutely not going to allow it. And so your only choice is to leave because he's not going to allow it here. And so I think that's my Pope-style advice is pay attention to what you're bringing into your dad's house, because you know what's there. You know the rings and the love and the and the ridiculous forgiveness
and
that
the calf, the fat calf,
and the fat calf and the smarmy brother. These are all things that are there, right? And these are all things that when you have them for especially after the years you didn't have them, and for that 1 minute you just cannot stop yourself from crying and acting a fool, because it is just so overwhelming to be back at dad's house. And then you get comfortable there, and then you try to start bringing a pig in there, and then you start trying to bring a lady or two in there. And dad goes, oh man, I just can't allow it. I just cannot. And so the Pope-style advice is be careful what you're bringing in your dad's house. Now you can get off my lawn. And I know you was at the dirties.
I mean, it's an apropos story.
Yeah, it was.
That's what they was trying to do. They got ashamed of themselves.
I'm going to fight you.
Why?
Because those stories.
Why?
Every time.
I thought sure.
We have been doing this show for 10 years. 10 years. We've been doing Pope-style advice for maybe 6.
Yeah, maybe.
6 years. And then randomly in the last year, you just decided to start making ridiculous stories that I get sucked in on, and I want to just join in and be like, hey, man, what's going on at the Bob's Tools? And then 14 hours into the story, I go, are you friggin' kidding me? This is a setup for a post time? I was invested. I have emotions. My feelings have been brought into this situation. I want to know what is happening on the south side of Des Moines because I used to run the bar that was right behind there. And I'm like, what's going on at the Bob's? And then but then they went to Pleasantville because of the Pope style advice. I'm tired of it. Mike, I agree with what you said. I love it. I didn't mean to just downplay that, but I'm sick of your stories. Apropos stories or not, you fire person.
I'm going to be honest. I really thought I overplayed my hand with that Bob's Tools business. I thought there's no way.
Not on me. I'm just sitting here eating it up like pudding. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Bob's Tools in the dirty place. All right. I'm freaking sick of it.
Has all the elements of a classic.
Oh, man.
Hey,
I really. Oh, sorry. Whatever.
I mean, doggone it. I mean, what are you going to say, Dan?
I was gonna say back to Mike. I never really thought of it in that light, but man, I know a lot of people who keep being the same prodigal son.
Right?
They're just like every 3 weeks. Oh man, I'm the prodigal. It's like, no, stop it.
Right?
You get to be the prodigal once, okay? we do it. Everybody does it.
Right?
Stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah, thank you.
Stop it.
I'm just envisioning my walk on with my relationship with Christ, and like how many times I've like started running back and then just kind of ran the opposite direction again. And so the story of the Buva prodigal son would not be the same story.
Yeah.
It'd be like the dad looking off on the horizon. I'm like, hey, Dad, and then randomly like, nah, I'm good, and then run back away. It's like I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Like I'm still here.
Especially if the dad already kicked off a run. Like you're running
Right.
at him,
He's running,
at
I'm like,
you,
Dad,
and then you're like,
bye.
no, I think
Man,
I'm
that's
going
gonna be
back.
my music video. It's gonna be me running to Ben for hours,
To be
running
hon-
back and forth on this road.
to be honest, like it's a double-edged thing because I struggle with this a lot as the guy trying to figure out how far my run goes, right? Like, and this makes it tough, right? Because like, just like Dan said, like there's some real flip-floppy fellas out there where they're like, yeah, I want to follow Jesus with all I have, and then you'll talk to them not 3 days later, and it is off the rails nutty. Like, not even close to the Father's heart on stuff.
Yeah, and as the other brother, don't you just want to just slap him and just say, I'm done with you?
That's correct. And so you're the other brother, and I sit there.
And the father's going, no, let him go.
Yeah, come on, let him come. And here's the thing: it's like, I think what I was trying to figure out is the Father's heart is always come back, always come back, always come back, right? But it's never bring your prodigal problems in here, right? And that's the problem: is you can come back as many times as you want, but if you're gonna have a pig under one arm and a lady under the other, you won't stay. It's just not gonna happen, right? And so, like, as the brother, to try to have the correct heart for the guy. Like, agreed, like, I can read a lot of myself into that, brother. I think almost everybody can and go, yeah, I would have a hard time with this, right, to take this in. But, like, if you look at the brother and go, here's how the brother's heart should have been, yeah, you're always welcome, and the Father always wants you back. But you can't bring that pig in here. You just can't. It will never work. And I think that's what it all boils down to, is everybody's got the folks in their life where they're just bouncing back and forth, coming back to Christ, gone, coming back to Christ, gone. And you're like, you're not even trying. But I don't know how to take the heart or the conversation and go, God's not going to put up with this, because he will. He will put up with this. It's me who's struggling with it. God will certainly put up with this. But you want to know why it's not working? Because you keep trying to bring that pig in here. And you can't. It's just, it will never work that way. And so if you thought that you would come back, live with the prodigal, or come back as the prodigal son, get the rings, have the party, and then the next day think that you're going to go back to the pig thing, like, it just does not work that way. God's house doesn't work that way. So anyway, it was much as a help for me as it was probably for the fellas I was talking to.
All right.
From Bob's Tools.
From
Bob's Tools. Shady.
Guys at the
Shady
dirty
fellas.
store. All right. Let's see here. Arrandale, let's crack open another tune here. Tell me about Victory.
Victory is a song based on the prodigal son, the story of. No, I'm just kidding. It kind of is. Actually, this song is about. Well, it's a little bit autobiographical. I'm still learning and still growing, and still know that there's way many things, lots of things I don't yet know or fully understand. I'm not the best studier of the Bible. I work best when somebody's telling me a story and painting me a picture, but despite my lack of fully understanding, it is finished, right? And I can take peace in the grace and the mercy that is Jesus Christ, and the fact that the victory has already been won. This song is not on this CD, but we're so excited about it, and can't wait to get it down. And with the way things work with us, it might be 3 or 4 or 5 more years before you see the performance video for it. But it is, it's been getting reaction when we've played it at places, and it's got kind of a swampy feel, which Mark kind of came. This is something that Mark and I wrote. Mark came up with a cool swampy kind of lead rhythm thing, and God just put on my heart that. Yeah, I know you don't know everything yet, and you lead your family, you follow Christ. I've got you no matter what. The victory has already been won. So, it's called Victory. Cannot pretend that I know all the things there are to know about God the Son and the Holy Ghost. It's plain to see there's many mysteries, things that are simple I just can't see. I just shake my head and nod to the Holy Ghost. Cannot deny that I'm not changed. Embraced in love, I'll get a brand new name. Won't give up this fight, for He is in me. I cannot pretend temptation will end, because of His presence turn away again. In the end He wins, it's His victory. Cannot predict when or how I'll die. I can smile and spit in the eye of the evil one, because of who is at my side. Oh, I'm not smart, but I'm not dumb. I can't deny what I've become, and I'm new and loved, a lot less dignified. Cannot pretend temptation will end, because of His presence turn away again. Won't give up this fight, for He is in me. I cannot deny that I'm not changed. Embraced in love, I'll get a brand new name. And in the end He wins, it's His victory. Oh, 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 He is in me. Oh, it's His victory. Cannot deny that I'm not changed. Placed in love, I'll get a brand new name. Won't give up this fight, for He is in me. I cannot pretend temptation will end, because of His presence turn away again. In the end He wins, it's His victory. In the end He wins, it's His victory. In the end, it's His victory.
Hey, welcome back to Live from the Path. We appreciate you. Let's a big round of applause for Jeff Arrandale. Yeah, man, that's a sweet tune.
Thanks.
Yeah, be on the lookout. This is why you go to jeffarrandale.com and follow Jeff Arrandale Music Ministry on the old Facebook. What do you mean? He does what?
Every time we have him in here, he will play one song that is not on the album he has just released.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know, but see, here's the deal. My voice is so bad, I could do any of those other songs, and oh, good Lord, you would never invite me back.
What was the song that I really liked that he did this to me last time?
Most High?
Yeah, Most High. Hey, man, we're going to play Most High. I'm like, this one's on the CD? No, man.
No, that's not on the CD.
Yeah.
That's never making it on EP. Don't worry about it.
You know what I found is that's really detriment to selling CDs and shows and stuff too. It's like, oh man, so which one is that last song on? Well, it hadn't been recorded yet.
Yeah.
So, but try this one. This one's got some pretty pictures.
Yeah.
That's not available for anybody, but
Yeah, here's a picture of me on the front of the album wishing that I'd have put Victory on it.
Right. Well, it's so new that we just haven't had a chance yet. Man,
I like it. It's very cool.
I've been listening to bands come on and artists come onto the show for a long time, and like I started to create like my own scale of how much I really like something. And if I like have to close my eyes and make a face at it, I love the song. Like I'm sitting over here like, oh man, this is twangy. I love this. Like I'm digging on this. That was ridiculous. It was gritty in one of those like awesome, amazing salt of the earth ways, and I can't say how much I loved that song. That was amazing.
It was like a homemade nut butter.
That's what. So I tried to give somewhat of an understandable review, and then Ben came in the side here with fire people and a homemade nut butter. That's a terrifying statement to make to a group of dudes.
No, Ben, I know exactly
It's
what you're saying.
twangy.
It's like making your own kombucha at home. It's just got its own little twang.
Yeah.
How many belts would you rate that song?
I would put it
on
at
a
least
scale of 1 to reversible.
I would say it's at least a 6-hole on a reversible belt, and so like I've lost some weight and I had to put some new belt, and it's just that's sort of no. I loved that actually. Like I really dig on the those identity kind of songs where you're really kind of figuring out who am I in Christ, how can I worship this way, and how can I give this to God in a way that it's like this is who I am because of you. And this is who I am in light of you. And I love those kind of songs and like that bluesy that was just awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too about this, I think this is something that not only I could relate to, but I think a lot of people could relate to too, because we all struggle with our faith. We're all I'm the prodigal son again, or whatever.
Yeah.
And but we're trying to get closer to Christ, and it's we can take comfort and peace in the fact that it is finished. So don't try and be a super Christian. Yes, you need to grow in your faith, and yes, you need to be in the Word, and you need to be with your church family, and you need to honor God with your own family and all that kind of stuff. But we're imperfect beings, but take heart. There's peace in loving the Lord and following Christ, being a Christ follower. So.
All right. Well, we've been listening to Jeff Arrandale again. You go to jeffarrandale.com, find him on Facebook, and you can follow the music action. 2019 seemed like a great year, Jeff. Like you guys were all over the place. Got to play a ton of different churches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was super excited to see not only like how often, but the wide variety. Like if you look back 2 or 3 years ago, right, there might have been there's a small subset of places you were playing, and then now like just all kinds of joints.
Yeah, we got hooked up with Rick Admiral, and this was one of the funnest places and most even humbling places we played. Rick Admiral over at the Newt Prison, he's got a ministry over there, and we met him at a gig or a show we played over in Keswick, Iowa. Cool little church there with some other bands out in the middle of a cornfield, and the crowd was amazing. But Rick was there, and basically worked it out so that we could go over and do a Saturday afternoon. Now, what I recommend, if ever you're going into a prison, don't go in with this dude, because there are snipers in those towers, Mark. I don't think they want us to like pretend like we're having a knife fight or something as we're carrying our stuff in.
Most of the Jeff Arrandale band was invited back too.
Yeah.
Jason was casually out of town.
Yeah. The other thing too, I got to tell you, I was so excited. We did I call it a micro tour. It's like, I just want to go and just see what God has for us, for this group, and we didn't all go, but there was a chorus that went down to a music festival down in Sheldon, Missouri back in September, and a little music festival. And boy, but those people love the Lord down there. Made some connections with a radio guy down there, and he's been playing some tunes on the radio, which is cool. But we came back to do a show at a buddy's church in Brookfield, Missouri. So it was like our micro tour, 2 whole days. But we had a bus, right?
Sweet.
And
It was a bus.
yeah, and Mark kept begging, "Hey, there's a Waffle House. Hey, there's a Waffle House."
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't get those up here. That's there's grits down there and stuff. But we stopped in Brookfield, and they stayed at the hotel. What's the horror hotel from the Bates Hotel? Bates Motel.
Yeah.
And I was put up in this plush, house. So these guys were all the bed bugs and all that kind of stuff.
I
And
don't want to say it was old, but I would probably use the word vintage.
vintage,
But
yeah.
not clean.
Right.
So anyway, in the middle of the night, and I'm taking way too much time, but this is so cool. I got to tell you, middle of the night, there's this crazy thunderstorm, and we were all just wiped out and sleeping. We wake up in the morning, and all the power's out in the whole town, and they think they'll have the power back on by 10 o'clock. And what time's the service? It starts at 10:30. Okay, well, we should be cool. We'd unloaded our stuff and kind of set it up the night before, and we get up there, and he gets another call or checks on it and said, "Well, it looks like it's going to be turning on about 11." And it just kept going like that. Eventually, it was going to be, it might be like a couple weeks. but it's
They
Missouri.
still don't have power.
Yeah. They've got indoor plumbing, though. But anyway, it was like we didn't care. And we talked about that before we left. This is spiritual warfare. Satan wants nothing good to happen out of this. And we prayed about that, and I didn't know what Satan went through. A flat tire or disunity or whatever. I didn't expect power to be out in Brookfield for weeks or whatever it was. But the people came, and we did this acoustic service in the dark. The light was just through the stained glass windows, beautiful auditorium with great acoustics, and it was the Holy Spirit was there. It was one of the coolest services, one of the coolest things I think we ever did. All of us agree. So anyway,
Boy,
it was
that does
cool.
sound awesome.
Yeah. So the next gigs, somebody's gonna flip the switch and turn all the lights out or something, and
Everyone's going to be disappointed.
yeah. But
The
that's all
power's on.
right. Yeah. Well, I guess we got to do this anyway.
Yeah. Guess the Holy Spirit ain't coming to this one.
Am I leaving anything else out that was cool that happened in 2019?
Well, I mean, you left out the part that show we did on the day before was it was hot enough that it caused me to reassert my faith to Christ because I was so concerned about how hot hell was going to be. I got a taste of it, and it became very clear to me, you know what, this is perfect motivation for me to reaffirm my life for Christ because I'm not going through that again.
It's funny too that stage is it's a concrete stage, and it's got an overhang on it, and of course we're scheduled to play at 5:00 or something like that. And it's almost like they turned the stage when they built it so that at 5:00 the sun would not only be directly shining in your eyes, but it would be the closest possible position to that point on the map as you could possibly be. It was 150 degrees easy, and I don't know. It was still cool. We
didn't find out that there was actually a place for the bands to go until after we had played.
That was air
So
conditioned.
we're sitting there getting we're sitting out in the sun, we're buying our waters, and we're getting snacks, and all of a sudden we're done playing. And the bands can go back in this room. There's food, there's water, it's air conditioned, there's fans, there's chairs, and we're like, what?
We missed that.
In the meantime, we're literally dangerously dehydrated.
But we brought a bus.
It was good. Sorry to take so long, but man, it was a lot. And there was all kinds of other. Iowa State Fair, we love that. Had a lot, and that was one of the best crowds that we've had there in a long time. And I think we opened for Journey that day, or somebody. I don't know who was on the grandstand. It's the same venue, so I'm always, Casting Crowns. Yeah, we've opened for Casting Crowns.
Yeah, we were there earlier
on the
that
Bill
day,
Riley stage,
warming the crowd up.
Yeah.
We also once opened up for Ozzy Osbourne. It was weird.
Yeah.
Hey, you're listening to Life from the Path. We appreciate you hanging with us so far tonight, and we've been talking with Jeff Arrandale and Jason and Mark. And again, you can get more information at jeffarrandale.com or find that stuff on the Facebook and see where he's going to be at. Now, here's the deal. I don't know that I encourage you to church hop to go check out Jeff Arrandale, but I mean, if he's in the same city or Brookfield and it's dark and it sounds like there might be spiritual troubles, maybe you take it in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's an option.
Can I tell you where we're going to be next? Is that all right?
Yeah, let's have it.
Hey, we're going to be down in Winterset at Redeemer Church down there. They meet in the high school auditorium. That's a blast. And then we're going to be up at Highland Park Community Church up in the Highland Park area of Des Moines the 16th. And then Fort Des Moines Church of Christ on the 1st of March. We're not yet booked on the 8th. I'm sorry? Real Men, I'm sorry, on the 21st of February. Thank you, Dan. And that's always a hoot and a blast, a bunch of guys together and rocking it out for Jesus there. And, we're booked, I think, pretty much through April-ish. And then, we go up to Webster City on the 26th of April, and there's a big worship night up there. Pastor Fuzz and his band we're opening up for them. And then there's a deal coming up in Southeast Iowa, kind of a big show coming up this summer that we're looking forward to doing that I'm not supposed to be talking about.
You can't speak of it.
No.
It may or may not be Tim Timmons.
Hey, hold on a minute now.
Yeah.
You said Pastor Fuzz?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, all right.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gone then.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, you said Pastor Fuzz like it's regular, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
everybody on this side of the room is like,
You don't know Pastor Fuzz?
he said Pastor Fuzz. And so, yeah, we're going to let it go,
I
but
bet
I'm just saying.
It sounds like a late night disc jockey.
Yeah. Yeah, you listening to Pastor Fuzz.
Right. Is that a last name or a nickname or what's going on with that?
That is his moniker. How about that?
That'll work.
Moniker.
Well, that means he made up his own nickname. That's what that means.
You've been listening to Pastor Fuzz.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Nailed it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see where we at here. Buva, question.
You have a question for me? Let's
No,
hear it.
You have a question for
Oh,
me.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. All right. So, I've really been trying to figure out how to navigate this. So, I've basically been adopted by a couple families. That's the backstory you need to know. One of which is the Jesus people, like I said, and the other is not so much Jesus people. Actually, kind of completely against Jesus people. And so, I don't know. A lot's been changing in my life, and a lot's been like heavy change in my life in the last 8 months, probably, of when I've really kind of run back to Jesus in a way that I've never done before. And like to the point where it's like it's no longer to where I'm trying to like, I want to fix this temporarily and then run back from it and figure out what that looks like. I really want to just like legitimately live my life Enoch style, right? Like walk with the Lord 300 years and then be taken up. And so that's changed me like fundamentally. I've started to become a different person, and I'm very thankful for that. But like that's coming with some strain in my relationships because like my friendships and then my family time is it's becoming difficult for me because like I don't know, I feel distant from them. I feel like they're not really wanting to jam out with me anymore, being like not to disown me by any means, but just they notice something is very different, and like we're trying to figure out what that looks like. And I'm trying to not run away from them and like abandon my family by any means because I don't want to do that. I fear losing people a lot, to be honest with you, and it rips my heart out thinking that I'm going to lose them. But like at the same point in time, if I'm choosing between the lifestyle that I'm trying to live, which is running to Christ and spending my day-to-day understanding what that daily bread stuff is and not being so wishy-washy as a Christ follower, choosing that over sticking around with a family that's just kind of, I don't know, cold right now. I mean, obviously, I know what I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose Christ. Like that is not an option for me. It's not even a choice. That's going to happen. And so I'm trying to figure out being a Christ follower and trying to figure out what it looks like to be in this family still, or if it's even a decision I have to make, or if I just kind of live it the way that I'm supposed to be living it right now, and then consequences be darned. Familial consequences be darned. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate this because I don't want to lose my family, but if I got to for Christ, I'm going to.
I mean, is the implication that it's pressing in on your interactions with the family?
Yeah.
Like, so in what ways?
So like ultimately what it comes down to is one of the choices that I've made recently within the last 6 months is I'm never drinking again the rest of my life. And I've never been a dude that's drank a lot, really. I mean, I've done that in my past, but like it was never a real issue for me. But like even if it wasn't an issue for me, I recognized the problems of it, and it was issues for everyone around me. And it was issues for my family, and it was enough to say, I may not have an issue right now, but like it's not even worth it to go near it. Like even in small doses, it's not even worth it to be around it. I want to be a different person. And like that's one of the biggest things is I've avoided that lifestyle and avoided alcohol and avoided all of that stuff. And that's, I mean, I hate to put it like this. I hope if they ever listen to it, it doesn't hurt their feelings, but that's a big part of them is the party and the having fun and the drinking and stuff like that. It's just something I've distanced myself from.
Yep.
And I'm most certainly a different person because like the interactions change because at one point in time I was calling myself a Christian, but like I was living, you wouldn't see it at all. You wouldn't see me living Christ out in any way, shape, or form. I was cursing up a storm in every situation, which whatever, we'll get into that at some point in time maybe. But like just talking filthy all the time. My mouth and my tongue did not reflect the fact that I love Jesus. My actions didn't reflect the fact that I love Jesus, and I call him my king. And since I've tried to change that, even in minute detail, even in the small things, it's put a strain on us because then they feel like I'm trying to be better than them. And it turns into what I can see is guilt on them, and they're taking that out on me and retaliating in like distancing ways because they probably feel guilty. Yeah. And I can get that. Heck, I've been there. I've been there with people that are Christ followers around me that I just go, man, I feel like a schmuck because those guys are living that way or that gal's living that way and I'm not. And of course, I try and take it with conviction of the Holy Spirit to go, okay, well, that's something I got to fix. But if you don't have that, I can imagine that's hey, I don't want to be around that and be reminded of me being this way and then there being a better path. And that, I suppose, without going into too specific of it, because I'm not really trying not to like hurt feelings or anything, that's probably the best way to put that, if that's fair.
No, yeah, that makes sense. So, I mean, like, basically your life is, I mean, I don't know. Like if you think about it, it's irrelevant to Christian stuff, to like Christian questions, right? But I suppose it's a little bit more universal than that. Like your life is starting to change, and then like as that starts to not bring you into the same paths or doing the same types of things or whatever,
right?
With other people, they start reacting to that fact, and then there's always a question of, oh, well, this thing that's not us, you're implying is better, which implies that we're worse, right? Like it's not the intent of the conversation,
of course
but like
not,
that is how people are taking it in.
I suppose that's fair. I never thought of it like that.
Here's the deal. You just keep believing Jesus, and what's going to happen is going to happen. You don't have to leave them; they will leave you.
Yeah,
that's just the natural. They will either become more like Jesus, or they will be repulsed by Jesus and back off.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, though. Is like we always talk about, like that you follow Jesus by an example, and people will notice the difference and go, I don't know what that is, but I want it too, right? It's like this thing we build up in our heads that like this will happen, right? And like, I don't know that happens as much as we think it does.
Right. Sometimes it's, that looks like Jesus. I don't like that.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like it.
So people will hate you because of me. And
I think that like so from both sides, right? Like the danger of having a group of friends or a family like that like as you move closer to Christ, they feel like they're moving farther away from you. Some of that choice is on them, right?
Yeah.
They see that you're doing a thing and they're like, I'm not interested in that at all. And not only that, but I don't think I like you when you act this way, right? Not that you're because obviously a Christ follower has a God's heart for people, and so it's not like they're being unloved by you, but like they're like, we don't get to do what we want to do, and what we want to do is X, and like that's just you can't bring that into my dad's house, so that's why it's off the table, right? And so we go, okay, so they start to feel like Ben said, that you're being judgmental against them because you're like, hey, I know we used to do that thing, I just don't do that anymore, and so
that's been a big thing right there.
You're just boring now. I mean, you used to be the guy carrying a pig and a woman, and now you're just like,
for like a fraction of a second, I was like, is there some story I don't remember about me where I was carrying a pig and a woman at one point in time? But then I remember the prodigal son situation.
Yeah.
I suppose that's a very valid point. Like I'm kind of cool with being boring, to be honest with you, but I don't know. It just it feels weird, and I feel like what I don't want to do is hurt them. Like I feel bad. Like that's the biggest thing for me is I feel bad. Like I'm not trying to hurt these people and make them feel lesser by any means by me trying to choose better.
Yeah, but see, that's what you're doing. That's the thing that we get messed up from our point of view is you're inviting them to something better,
right?
And they're not interested.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, and frankly, it's not you they don't like. It's Jesus they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? You're just you're just the messenger here. And once again, I don't imagine that you are beating them over the head. I don't imagine that you are hard selling the gospel and shaming. That's not what you're doing. You just can't bring the pig into your dad's house, and you're just saying and they're like, hey, we're having pig races. We're doing Catch the Pig. Come over. You used to do Catch the Pig. What's the matter? Well, I don't do. Now Catch the Pig's not good enough for you.
Yeah, you're too good for Catch the Pig.
Yeah, all right. And you're like, it's actually not that I'm too good for Catch a Pig. I just don't do that anymore. And that's my choice. And to take the Jesus thing out of it, right? Like if you used to hang out with a bunch of your buddies, and that's what we did. Like we got together and we drank, and then all of a sudden you're sober. If I ain't gonna follow you there, then I'll just stop inviting you, right? Like I am bringing Troy over here no more. He just stands around, and then I don't know if you've ever been in a room full of drunk people and you're completely stone cold sober. It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
A lot.
It's not
done that
fun
for
at
a
all.
lot of my life, actually.
Right? And so they're like, I don't want to bring this wet blanket. He's making me feel bad, because he's over there not drinking. And so I think it's more than the Jesus. The following Christ is the reason for the changes, but it's the everyday stuff where you're like, I don't want to sit around and gossip about people. Right, that's just not what I want.
Right.
I don't want to sit around and that's everybody's got this group of friends where they're just cackety all the time, and once you decide not to do that, you're not fun anymore.
Right.
You're just a judgerson, and they don't want to hang around with you. And so some of that's the Jesus thing, some is that our interests are growing apart, and it doesn't have to be a angry thing or upset thing. It's just a choice that you made. It don't make it any easier to sit with though. It is hard to watch those relationships go their own direction. There is no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a reality too. As people change as human beings, it's okay that they go apart because their relationship has changed or their interactions with people has changed. But I have plenty of people who that's true for me, that there's not animosity towards. Right? It is very unfair, and frankly, it's very selfish to be upset for someone for not fulfilling the role that they were in your life. Because that's essentially what it is, right? You were the good time guy. You're a person who does what everyone else does or fulfills this role to us, and then to the extent that you're not willing to do that, it's disrespectful to be like, well, if you're not going to be the person I want you to be, then I don't want to be near you.
Dance the dance, monkey, or get out of here.
Right, if you're not a person who, and no one would phrase it like that, but that's ultimately what we're talking about. Is if you look out at somebody and go, oh well, he doesn't act like that anymore. I mean, is it better? If I put the other person first and go, is their life better now than when they were acting this way? Well, yeah. Well, then doggone it, I should be super happy about this.
Right.
But if my reaction is to not be happy about this, that's not really great friend or family.
Yeah, but generally they don't think that much about it. I mean, honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
They're just looking for a party person, and when you don't fill that role, we'll find the next one. John Belushi was the great party guy. Then he died. It's like, oh well, and you found another one.
We found another one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that guy died. Then you're like, well, I found another one. It's just that's just that crowd. It's not.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
Man, that leads me down a different path of thought, because I remember at one point in time how important it was to me to be the party dude.
Mm-hmm.
You could look, anyone who's listened to this show for a long time can know that that's been the majority of my life.
You're the center of attention. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm very thankful that it's one of the things that Jesus is 100% working on in me, and the Holy Spirit is trying to just bash out of me, is my obnoxious pride. And I'm very happy that's whittling away. It's still there, and I hate that it's there. But that used to be very important to me. I remember feeling so cool because people that were in my high school 5 years younger than me knew who I was. And I'm like, man, this is the most important currency that exists on the planet.
My name lives on.
Yeah, exactly.
I am epic.
I remember specifically telling somebody, hey, you know how cool it is that I'm still on my high school's website and I graduated a couple years ago?
Yeah.
It's freaking ridiculous. I thought that was the most valuable currency on the planet. I was like, do you know that I was cool in high school? It was awesome. A lot of people liked me. And then people voted for things at prom for me. And those mean something. And every time I've mentioned that in an interview, they don't hire me. And so it seems to not be that worth that much. No.
It seems it's really akin to, you remember when Michael Jackson used to run with some real bad dudes, and then he kind of cleaned up his act, and then the bad dudes found him and said, hey man, come back and be bad dudes with us, and he's like, you ain't bad, you ain't nothing.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So they split completely, right? So the bad dudes and Michael Jackson parted ways, and they just can't They just can't get themselves back together again once it's. Boo, boo, where are you going?
Was he wearing a leather jacket at that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in a car garage?
You ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
Did you just spew?
What the bad dudes?
Michael Jackson's bad at me.
That's what your life is like. Boo.
Yeah. You're the.
Here's the deal. There is improvement in my relationship with Christ because I didn't immediately go, you're right. I am like
bad.
Michael Jackson. I am quite bad. You are correct.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the question. It's just it's tough. Like, and things will be. You kind of nailed it already. They're going to be what they're going to be. You don't. Of all relationships that you've parted ways with, and I can look back on my life and say the same thing. I don't have any animosity for any of them.
Right.
That we just went a different way. We just went a different way. And like, I know where I can negotiate, and I know where I can't.
Right.
And so there's this line that I don't walk anywhere near. And as soon as the story or the fellas or the people get over that line, I'm like, well, old Mike's out, and then that's it.
So you know what's interesting though is like I think this puts in proper context the general issue that people will hurl at Christianity and say the Christians are judgmental. They're judgmental and they're hateful and they're always and they're holier than thou. Now look at Booba's example that we're talking about here. You could nail this thing and have walked humbly with the Lord Jesus and simply just changed your life for the better in service to your King. And it isn't anything that you have intended to do, but the very fact that there is something that says, I decided to change, or Jesus is changing me, it causes a reflection on people. And as opposed to acknowledging that what's reflecting back at them they don't like, the thing then turns around and goes, no, it's you that suck.
Yeah, I hate that mirror.
Yeah, I hate the thing that happened. And so, like, I either have to, and it tells you, like, the barrier isn't Jesus, it's not Christianity. No one likes to be faced with their own frailties and have to actually digest it. Like they can't take it.
Yeah,
they're afraid it's too much of a weight, and it changes because all that stuff starts to define who they are. Right, like the people I hang out with, the fact that like we as a family or we as a group of friends, we get together and we drink, and it defines us. It's defined every Saturday night for X number of years. It's defined the thing that we talk about. All of our stories are pointing back to times when we were doing that, right? And so if you have to look, if that gets reflected back at you, if you go, oh, well, crap, man. If that is not what defines me, then what the flying heck does? And I'm scared of who I am without it. I'm scared of who I am knowing that everyone else around me suffers the same infirmity and the same reliance. And like, I mean, it is a world shaker, and it's the right type of world shaker. But like, it's the type of thing that actually presses you to say, is God on his throne or isn't he? Because if he's not on his throne, there's no reason not to allow this. This is a perfectly good definition, and we might as well keep it. Right? If he's on his throne, it changes absolutely everything, including this, and it's okay to give it up. But like, it's way more of a come to Jesus moment than a lot of things that like where we might go around and go, hey dude, that's sinful, you should stop it. Hey, that's sinful, you should stop. If it's those types of social relationships, especially as they're defined by behavior that's probably not the best for you, that when it gets held up to a thing, you really are faced with a choice. And is this me or isn't me? And if it's me, dang, I don't want to, because it's not just like what you're doing now. It's probably what you've done for 40 years, or 30 years, or 20 years, or whatever. And you're like, boy, I've let half my life go, and this has defined me. And like, it's a lot. It's a lot to have to give up on. That's why Jesus has to work on that situation over time. Like, it doesn't tend to just hit someone and go, you know what? Yeah, I've been totally walking the wrong deal. Me and this guy, and I told my kids, and I brought my sister-in-law along, and I brought the two friends along, and right, like, because think of it this way. Let's say through some means or another, all right, you were able to be convinced that Christianity was bogus. Like, that you've been following the wrong thing the whole time. What'd you do, man? I proselytized my kids, right? We gave up things. We gave away money. We gave away time, right? We spent time that we could have been doing something else, even just giving each other hugs or whatever, talking about Jesus and praying at night and doing all kinds of things. And I'd be like, boy, what would it be like to give that up? I'd have to admit that I was totally brought in and that I followed the wrong thing, and I took people I loved with me. That'd be devastating. It would be devastating. Now take that away. Like, it's not more high and mighty. That's Christianity. Now put it into, dude. We spend our time getting together and drinking, and we made real connections, true friendships, real time spent with each other, good memories that we do actually belly laugh at, and where there were tender moments. Like all those things are still true things. They were just under this guise of the sinew that keeps us together is a good one or is an okay one because it produces all these things. And when if you have to face that's not true and it actually wasn't as good as it probably we thought it was. I mean, that's a heavy burden to carry.
Right.
And so I mean, people gonna. It's not a natural instinct to turn from and go, oh yeah, you're right. And if someone goes, hey man, that's really not the right thing, it's like calling someone's baby ugly. like the thing that created those memories and created the sinews and your life, you wouldn't say it, but like it implies that like that's not a healthy thing. It's a hard thing to take in.
Yeah.
So I think it rolls back up to what Dan was saying. Like ultimately, it's super easy. You're going to follow Jesus, and people are going to react the way they are going to, and it's very difficult to watch it when they don't want it, and when they don't want it that it's good for you, and they don't want it because they don't want it near them. And there's nothing that causes that go away because frankly, like God created our heart to want to see people come to Him, and as He weeps for them, we weep for them, and to think that there wasn't even something like everyone gets it when the guy in the street corner who's going to turn or burn, and everyone's pissed at that, and we're like, well, I mean, I kind of get it, right? But if you're doing something that isn't that, and that you're actually trying to show love, and people take your love for hate, that's exactly what they did to Jesus, right? And I think that's ultimately what He's getting at, is they hated me, and like they had no reason to hate Jesus. Like his point wasn't just, oh, it's okay to be hated. It's like, you know what I did for them. You know what I came to do for them, and they still hated me. Like, it's not on you necessarily, but it still does stink. And so, I mean, unfortunately, it's like every other relationship, whether it's family or whether it's like any connection. Like, I mean, I would say just be careful. Don't beat yourself up on it. Just follow Jesus and hope it changes the world. That's how. I mean, it's hard, like, because there's not a magic in it. It's the same choice everyone's been making for thousands of years. It's just expressing itself in a way that is painful because you're close and you're seeing it.
Right.
Dang, that's tough.
Hey man, Arrandale left.
Yeah.
He snuck out of here.
Yeah.
It was when I started talking too. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Did he say he was going to do that?
No. Like,
Ahead of time? Like, hey, boys, we got to cut early.
No.
He said, Boob was all Jesus. I'm out.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
says, look, we're done. I mean, that was total rock star. We played our stuff and we're out.
He did drop off some CDs on his way out.
He's a good dude.
and then gave us a thumbs up.
Except for that Motley Crue behavior there just a minute ago. Other than that,
Yeah.
he's a solid fella.
I think he took one of
Hey.
our coasters, too.
Hey guys, I just read all the songs that are on this sweet EP of him sitting on a porch, and Victory was not on there.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Every time.
I'm going to tell you this thing right here. I recorded the Victory. You know I can release music. I
Yeah.
just turn it on. I'll put it out on the net.
Yeah.
Or I'll release it legit. So it'll be on Spotify before his legit album's out there.
We'll make big
That'd
dollars.
be hysterical.
Here's what I know. Arrandale got no attorney.
We'll do the video.
That's right. We're going to put it out.
Oh my gosh!
And we're going
yes.
to release a video.
We need to release the song Victory,
Yeah.
and then release a video of it. Gonna be great. I'm imagining some kind of crossroads with a dirt road kind of deal.
Like a Richard Marx.
Absolutely.
I thought a bunch of people getting out of church down south and then going to kill gators. That's what I thought of when I was listening to that.
Go to kill gators?
Yeah. Like, we had to go to church today, but it's gator killing time, and we got to get it done.
Can the gator be wearing a sign that says they hated me first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's the Christ
Hey,
figure.
now that would be a cool video, is to have alligators playing the part of old-time prophets, right? Like one of them's Micah, and one of them's Jeremiah, and the gator's over there crying all the time, crocodile tears. And then are you ready?
All right, yeah, let's
Weeping
let's do it.
Dear life from the past, our 24-year-old grandson quotes Raffy. What kind of ridiculous thing is that?
What?
Raffy?
Yeah, Raffy.
That's
Not
the-
Ralphie?
No,
Raffy?
Raffy. I'm sorry.
That's the name. They're writing the name.
Yes, our 24-year-old grandson quotes Raffy, a college grad from a respected technical institution. Couldn't find a job for a year after graduation. He has been living with us for more than 6 months without paying rent because we wanted to help him get on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, his only responsibility is helping someone after dinner. He now has a good job. I should mention that Raffy tends to be narcissistic. Wow. He frequently wears his baseball hat to meals, even though I've asked him not to.
I'm sorry.
That's
We call him
textbook
Ben.
narcissism right there. There's nothing more narcissistic than showing up to dinner with your baseball cap
That
on.
took a sweet turn. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
All right, Myrtle.
Raffy could also be difficult to deal with, attacking me when there's a difference of opinion or if he's angry about something.
Unlike this letter.
Oh, boy. We live in a 3-bedroom condo. What rules are legitimate for me to require? Can I ask him to keep his room straight and take his hat off at meals or when going out for dinner? How much room and board should we ask for? We have frequent guests, family, our friends, his friends, because we live close to the beach in Florida.
Ooh.
Space gets to be a big issue, and he refuses to allow visiting cousins to sleep in his room, even though there are 2 double beds. I welcome your input.
This is your grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raffy the grandson has seemingly to this person taken advantage of his grandparents' willingness to help him out and get him on his feet.
Yeah.
And she or he is upset about the living situation and wants to see about setting ground rules and expectations.
I mean, it's their home. Set
Right.
the rules. He can leave if he wants.
Now that he has a job,
Yeah.
a year?
It depends on why you wanted him to live there, right? Like, you're not his parents. You're not raising him,
Right.
right? Like, are you offering a guy a place to stay while he gets up on his feet? And that's what you're doing, which means that you don't get to meddle in the middle of the particulars of his lifestyle, like whether he wears ball caps.
Right.
Now, if he knows that you don't dig on ball caps and he's eating at your place, then he's kind of a turd. I don't know if a narcissist is the right word, but like, he's disrespectful,
Yeah,
no
agreed.
doubt,
Oh,
right?
no doubt
Like,
about that at all.
If I mean, that's going to anybody's house, whether you live there or not. If their shoes off at the door, people,
You take your shoes off.
You're
Yeah.
a shoe off at the
Yeah,
door guy,
agreed.
right? Like, so that's stupid. But like, on the whole, I think you're letting this train get a ton of cars behind it, and it probably should have like 2. Right? Like, you're like, oh, he's this, he's that, and blah, blah, blah. You want him to be this better version of himself. Raffy is not that, right? And you're not his parents. And so either offer him the place to stay and be generous or don't. But I don't think you get to have it both ways. I don't think you get to put a string on it and say, Raffy, you can stay with me, but you best listen to all the input I have on your life because I'm going to meddle. I'm going to get right in the middle of it and tell you what kind of turd ball I think you are. That is a bad on you. The
Yeah,
hat
if you're trying to
thing-
make him 60-year-old,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's only been there 6 months. Now, he couldn't get a job for a year after he graduated his prestigious technical
Oh,
institute.
okay. I was taking that as he moved in right after college.
No.
Okay, got
No,
it.
it sounds like he's only been there 6 months. And I'll be honest, if you invited a bunch of cousins over and you wanted them to take up residence in my room, I would say no, too. I don't want a bunch of crazy people sleeping in my bed.
You got 2 beds.
Yeah?
They specifically said double beds in the room.
Yeah?
He doesn't want the cousins in any of the beds.
Yeah.
Is that the-
Well, here's the thing.
Not in his room at all.
So once again, though, 24-year-old Raffy's got a job now, right? So like, these cousins are over, staying the night on a Thursday night, and they're wanting to have because the grandparents got nowhere to be. Raffy's still got to go to work in the
It's
morning.
certainly possible that's the situation.
I know that's the situation.
Okay.
I don't even like Raffy, and I'm defending him because I think this is cantankerous.
he doesn't have a job. He wears a baseball cap.
Yeah, obviously. He
Yeah,
wears
you can't get a job wearing a baseball cap at dinner. What a narcissist.
Why is that narcissistic?
It's not narcissistic at all. There's nothing narcissistic.
It just
about
bothers.
Yeah. Okay.
that. It
So
bothers the woman. She
They
needed an
haven't
adjective.
communicated it. Yeah.
She needed an adjective. It sounded good.
So is that the round out of the advice? See, look, it's okay to set ground rules, but like you're on too high of a horse on thinking that this is either your responsibility to raise this kid or whatever. Like if you want a roommate, then fine. You treat it like that. But like that, the ability, the place that you're giving him space in your house does not give you the right or the privilege or the presence to be able to act like you are a moral authority in his life.
But at the same point in time, if they're willing to help the dude out and have certain expectations of that, now I'm not trying to defend the hey kid don't wear the baseball cap at dinner kind of thing.
Take off the hat.
But like cleaning up his room, that's disrespectful to somebody that they're letting you use they're letting you use their house, and they feel like you're disrespecting their place by leaving your room a mess. And they've asked you to clean it up, you friggin' boob. Come on, man. Like,
I mean, Raffy certainly needs a talking to.
Yeah.
But like,
I think
you only get to set rules for the house.
Right.
You don't. These are the
Yeah.
house rules, right? Like if you're going to eat dinner in here, the rule at dinner is no hats.
Yeah,
And
personal
so-
conduct is different than, hey, you're going to treat my stuff correctly.
Correct. So if
Yeah.
Raffy wants to eat dinner there, he'll take off his hat. Otherwise, you don't get no dinner. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, if I cooked it, it ain't yours. make your own food. You can use the kitchen. You live here too, but clean up your dishes after you're done.
Yeah.
I think they both just need to set ground rules on what they're expecting from one another and where the realms of responsibility and interference lie.
I don't think it's any of their business about what he does in his room, though. If it's clean or dirty, it's like,
I agree.
shut the door.
To an extent, like so actually, the guy we were just talking about, this whatever, she let me live at her place while I was at school because I didn't have enough money to rent a place, and so she let me stay there. And so like every once in a while, she was very good about like not bugging me on it too much. But like when I thought about it, I'm like, oh man, like this is her place and my room's a pit right now. I don't pay for this. This is not my apartment. This is not my home. I need to make sure I'm getting this done. And it was a thing. It wasn't necessarily something where I felt like it was necessary, but I felt like it was part of respecting her and respecting her allowing me to be there was to keep my room clean, which I stunk at a lot. I was terrible at it, but like every once in a while I would try and clean it up when I had a good, genuine thought about, hey, I need to respect the person that's letting me live here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I just need to set boundaries on what circles of influence mean, where you should care, and where you actually should meddle with.
Yeah.
Personal things are not the same as property things. All right, Secular says, you seem to have forgotten that the condo Raffi lives in belongs to you. Because it is your home, he has been living rent-free, you should be making the rules. Time to sit him down and tell him together that if he wants to continue living there, he will, 1, keep his room neat at all times. 2, remove his hat during meals he shares with you. 3, allow the visiting cousins to use the extra bed in the, quotes, his room, which is really your guest room. 4, I hesitate to suggest you ask him for money because if you turn the arrangement into a business deal, you may lose leverage. But I do think you should set a deadline for your gainfully employed but difficult grandson to leave. With the money he has been socking away on rent, he should be able to accumulate enough to afford a place of his own.
Yeah, so that's at its core, that's the wrong thought.
Right.
If you're asking what she's calling leverage is very much you overstepping your bounds.
Right.
Like, hey, you'll lose the ability to overstep your bounds if you make it a business transaction. Yeah.
So this is my favorite.
That's the problem.
This is my favorite line where it goes, allow the visiting cousins to use the extra bed in the, quotes, his room, which is really your guest room, which you gave to him.
Right.
Right.
He is the current guest in that room.
So they're all family.
Why aren't you telling the cousins to pound sand? I got no room, bro. There's a dude living in here. You're going to have to get a hotel. Right? You set up a tent. I don't know. But you can't give a guy a room and go, by the way, I scheduled 5 people to sleep in a room with you. Right? That's totally crappy. That's not generous at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying, hey, Boova, you can borrow my car. And then I call 2 days later and go, by the way, you need to take my kid to school. Like,
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Which I would. I would, for the record. Take the kid to school.
Of course you would. But like once again, it's like when people give you a backhanded gift.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Like
fair.
here, hey, we bought your kids a trampoline. By the way, I'm going to bring the youth group over on Tuesdays and Thursdays and we're going to jump on it. I hope you got lemonade and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it just starts creeping in and starting to where the gift is really a burden.
Right.
And so like whatever nice thing you were trying to do for Raffi, you're canceling all of it out with your behavior.
Yeah, cheapening quite a bit.
Man, that's too bad. There's nobody I get fired up more than a 24-year-old dude, right? That is acting a fool. Like Raffi should have been getting the brunt of this conversation, and they ruined it.
You get angry at 24-year-old dudes that are idiots?
Oh man,
I can't imagine how that's true, Mike.
yeah, it's my favorite.
Whether from personal experience or experience on this show. No way you get upset at that demographic.
Is that it? You want to do one more? Is that it?
No, that's it. We're tucked. Okay,
Okay.
You've been listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, I'm going to ask you a big favor, and I'm going to keep on this because we could really use some help. We do have a minor intent to legitimize our operation around here this year, and so one of the things that could really help us out is the thing that every podcast asks for, which is, can you give us a rating and a review? So on however you listen to the show, whether it be iTunes or I use Podcast Addict on my Android phone, Stitcher, or Spotify. You can pick up the show on Spotify. Do us a big favor and give the show a review and a rating. And it just helps create visibility for the show, makes people recognize it's a legit operation. Although there's like 200 episodes there. At least we're committed to whatever this is.
Right.
But you know what? Even if you don't ever call the complaint line, and even if you don't share it onto Facebook, I totally get it. I barely do any of that stuff. But if you could do us just a big favor and review the podcast for us and leave us a rating, that would be super fantastic. We'd super appreciate it. So thanks for hanging out with us on Live from the Path. Big thanks to Jeff Arrandale. Go to jeffarrandale.com to keep up with what he's doing.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
You're welcome, guys.
All right. We're gonna put out a video before him.
Pastor Fuzz.
Actually, and we're off next week because I'm out of town. So we'll pick it up in 2 weeks. In the meantime, be faithful in the means. God will hand the ends. You've been listening to Live from the Path.